All right, so thank you for joining us. Today we are talking about a new library service by Brainfuse. It's called JobNow and VetNow. Initially, they were two separate services, but they have since merged together as part of this California-wide initiative to provide much needed job search help right now for many Californians and also across the country, but basically just to help them get started with any kind of job search they have. And also there's services for veterans to help them navigate veteran benefits. They themselves, as they get out of service, need help writing resumes, transitioning their military skills to regular daily job skills. And so there's specific help for veterans as well. So let's see here. Keep this open. Again, if you have questions throughout, please feel free to type them in. Okay, so Brainfuse. The first place to go is always our website for any of our services. Specifically from here, you would go to Online Library. All right, and this is where you would find all of our services and databases, from ebooks to research databases to Ancestry, any kind of magazines. All of those are here in these very organized drop-down boxes, but specifically to get to Brainfuse, we will go to Career and Education, and then you'll see it right here, Brainfuse, JobNow, and VetNow. There's a link to the class handout, and then there's also a user guide, which is much more detailed. The handout is abbreviated, of course, but this user guide, if you get to a certain spot and you're not sure where to go, will probably answer that question. And of course, you can always reach out to the library and we can help you. So once you come across here, go ahead and click the link for Brainfuse. It'll bring you to the landing page. Again, this is sponsored by the California State Library. So most libraries by now should have their own access and their own link available. Though every library has it, it is specific to each library. So to use the link from our website, you do have to have a South San Francisco library card. So I'm going to enter mine now. So the handout should be a link at the top there in the chat. Maybe you can't see that. Let me try to add it again real quick. That's actually in a separate spot, the handout I created, but let me try and get that for you. So hold on one second. Did that show up? Okay, hopefully that is what you're looking. Great. Okay, so that answered your question. Okay, so once you log in with your library card, this is the home page of JobNow and VetNow. Again, a merged service. So we're talking about job skills, resume help, trying to figure out the best job for yourself, job searching, job interviewing, all of those things. And then for veterans, we have a live veteran navigator. And so along with resume help. So keep in mind a lot of, because there is live job coaching, there's a live assistance for to navigate veteran benefits, and there's live interview coaching, there's live tutoring. So all of these things that are live, they are specifically within a window of time. So if I were to click on one of these, let's say live job coaching, it'll tell me job coaches are not available, but they are here every day between 1 and 10 p.m. So they are there. They just may not be in the morning, but you can always log in between the time they designate, and it can change, so you'll have to check every day. But you would log in, and this would pop up with what you're looking for. It would bring you directly to the kind of coach based on what you clicked on. And from there, you would just get started with asking your questions. They can be detailed questions. They can be super simple questions, whatever works best for you. So with that, that's how you would get, if I click here, Okay, so this one actually has a live tutor available for veteran benefits. You would type in your questions, and you would, you have a whiteboard here where you can do any kind of demonstration as well. So that's definitely available for you too. If you know any veterans that need help, definitely refer them to this service. Live job coaching, as I mentioned, and interview coaching. Resume lab. So when it comes to resumes, they change all the time, like what's expected of them to look like, how they should be structured, should you use keywords, no keywords. For some reason, the perception on resumes changes all the time. So this is going to have the most up-to-date assistance. What's really nice is, along with templates and stuff, which I'll talk about, you can upload your resume, and it will go to an individual who will review it. They're experienced people, probably in the HR industry, that are doing this now, but it will be sent to them, and they will mark it up with everything they have and then send it back to you, and then you'll be able to have someone to ask questions to. Super helpful. But let's go ahead. So I'm talking about those 3 main boxes because those are probably the most important. But up at the top, this is where you would have kind of more targeted searching, but all of these things are also, as you scroll down, you'll see what's available. And I'll talk about everything here. What's great about this free service is that it touches on most age groups. So for this service, there's something available from 3rd grade up into an adult learner, a veteran coming out of the military service, job searching. So I'll go through all of that, but it really does cover most age groups, at least say elementary school to adult learner. Okay, for expert help, this is where we get into the live coaching assistance, job tools, resume coaching, interview coaching, job resources, interview resources, veteran support tools, as we talked about. And you can also just send them a question and get back to you, kind of like an email service that's available. Tools for learners, and I'll talk about all of these. And then specifically adult learners too. And I don't believe, I'll talk about that in a moment. Now, there is a feature to log in. And the reason why you would want to create an account and log in is so you could use most of these. So you'll need a place to save the resume you upload. If you're going to take some of the career prep courses, you would need a place to save your spot. So that's why you would need to create an account. And you would create an account using with your email and a password. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. It has everything saved for me. Okay, so now here I am. All right, so I'm going to really talk about these by just scrolling down the screen, but let me click on the adult learners real quick. Okay, adult learning for lifelong learners and those that are kind of trying to get out on their own. The Adult Learning Center has some great stuff. There's high school equivalency preparation for those that are in the process of taking a test. You can prepare for U.S. citizenship. If you're learning Microsoft Office, some of the basic skills you need to get a job these days, that's there. Also live coaching for that. Career resources, which we have, and resume writing also. And these are all the live one-on-one help you can get for adult learners, as you see here. So tutoring, skills building, writing lab, test center, and you can send a question. So definitely targets a group that usually needs help, and it does, the live tutoring depends on the time of day, so you just have to log in to find out what's going on. All right, let me go back. Okay, so tools for job seekers. We have resume coaching. We have eParachute. This used to be called something else. I can't remember what it was, but it's basically kind of like a personality test to determine potential careers that might work best for you. So, you get started. It's going to ask you, what work do you find interesting or exciting? And you kind of type some ideas in, types of people you like, the fields you love, and at the end of this test, it'll say, hey, Stacy, you would be a great librarian. I don't know if it would say that. It could say something totally different. But it's a place to get started if you're kind of in a career slump and you're like, I don't really like my job. I want to try something different. you can go ahead and take this. Or you're just not sure where to start. You're out of college, you finished your degree, but it wasn't really, you know, you just did it to do it. So this could kind of help get you in the right direction. Okay, resume templates. So like I said, the resume world always changes on what's expected, what you should have, what you shouldn't have. Something super brief. Do you need a career objective? Do you not? So all of that stuff changes. This is up-to-date information, depending on the type of resume you need. And it kind of describes them here. Like a chronological resume is something you would do if you are applying for a job in the same field you've been in for 10 plus years. A functional resume would be if you're changing careers and you're starting brand new and you need to list experiences you have that support the job, but may not have the career experience. Military resume templates for veterans entering the civilian workforce, and there's a couple different options for them. And some other like name brand resume guides that you can reference as well. Interview tips, you know, basic things like before the interview, at the interview, just some sample things to read. Career prep and job resources. Okay, so I'm actually, let me talk about this in a little bit. This is where we cover everything for all age groups. So I'll get back to that in a sec. We have the interview coaching. So if you were to click on here, it would bring you up to that screen. You know, if there's someone available, you would immediately get assigned to a coach. But they would walk through the interview process. You kind of tell them what you're going in for. Are you going in for a job to interview at Starbucks? They would kind of help you with the types of questions they would ask. Are you going in to interview for a software developer job? They would coach you through what that interview might look like. Job resources. So this is kind of job searching. And it just links you to some of the larger job searching services out there like Monster, Career Builder, Glassdoor, all of those. And then also some specifically for veterans too. All right, optimal resume. So this is a name brand company that typically you have to pay for, but through Brainfuse, they give you a kind of a free version. It's much more limited. But these are, you know, free video tutorials. You can build yourself a portfolio, cover letters, resume builders. You can build yourself a website. Some of the fancy places or fancier people create their own website, which is like a online portfolio that, you know, maybe if you're doing graphic design, you have links to all of your, you know, maybe accounts you worked with or samples you can provide. And you would put the link for the website on your resume for whoever's looking at your resume. They could go there and find it. And then interview resources, just you know, just a few things for you to go through as you prepare for an interview. Okay, as I mentioned, tools for veterans, veteran resources, send a question. And the veteran resources are more along the lines of federal benefits. Each state has their own benefits outlined for veterans. California has their own specific website for California veterans or veterans that live in California. Which provides additional resources and services for veterans. But this is pretty much navigating stuff offered by the federal government, like the GI Bill and stuff like that. Okay, so let's go back quickly. So before I get started or move on, does anybody want to type in, or do you have questions you want to put in the chat? Am I moving too quickly? Okay. All right, so career prep and job resources. Okay. So this is a very thorough list of the learning library that they have, specifically for the job resources we're looking for. So these are lessons, kind of like a learning plan for all sorts of jobs. So you could see here that we have all sorts of interests in industries being represented. If I were to click on logistics analyst, these are kind of some of the general skills you would need to apply for that job, things that you would be expected to know. So you would definitely want to go through these. Can you navigate a spreadsheet? Can you create one? Can you use PowerPoint? Do you know how to, customize certain things? Are there flashcards you need to do? So again, for all sorts of jobs, you will find those here. So depending on, again, go through, see what you need, and go from there. Okay. So as I mentioned, we have all sorts of resources for school-age kids up through college. So upper elementary, reading resources for 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, writing, math, science, social studies. Middle school, same type of thing. And these are more along the lines of maybe you have someone or a student, a child, grandchild that needs a little extra help. Maybe they're kind of behind, not really. These are just some additional lessons that can help. I mean, I was looking at one, I'm not good at math and I'm not good at fractions. And I found a pretty helpful lesson plan in, I think it was 3rd grade to help me or remind me how fractions work. So it's there if you need it. All right, high school as well. And then also AP exam prep and high school equivalency tests as well. So all of that is here. There's a question here. I'm interested in SAT prep and practice. Okay, so let me find that for you. High school equivalent. Okay, college entrance test prep. All right, you got the PSATs, which I think you take sophomore and junior year, maybe, and then the official SATs. So let's see, if we click on the prep pack, you're gonna get the overview, what the reading test is like, the writing, the math, test taking strategies. You can get live help if you know your kid or grandkid is in a slump, get live help. Maybe that'll kind of answer a question they might have. Hold on, where was I? There we go. But all of these are here, AP tests, ACT, and nursing entrance exams as well. But this is where you would go. You would want to go in and, they're going to have flashcards if you wanted to print out flashcards, sample tests, sample question test. Let's see, what does this look like? These are flashcards examples. So you can, flip them around, save them. If you go to your profile here, you'll see anything that you've started or taken, you can go back and reference here. Like if you started a practice test for an SAT test, you would go in My Tests and it'll be there. Oh, excuse me, my cats are fighting on my bed. Okay, anyway, we'll keep going. All right, so hopefully that answered the question about the entrance tests. And also there's the AP test, which you can take for college credit. Like if you go to calculus. Okay, hold on 1 second. All right, back. So all of these things that may be part of the AP calculus test are here. There might be actual videos to watch with someone walking through the steps, and flashcards, and just actual lesson plans as well. All right, so that's the entrance test prep. So college now, this is kind of like the college application process. College placement test. So I remember when I started college, I went to a junior college to start off with, but you had to take like a math placement to find out which math classes you could sign up for. So that's what these would be. For college itself, let's see, let's click on critical thinking. So these are probably, I would say, assistance for kind of the general, the required courses you might have to take. This is where you would find help for that. Career prep and job resources, we kind of talked about this. A variety of different help tools depending on what career you're interested in. Nursing school exams. And again, all sorts depending on the type of exam you're doing. There's basic computer help if you need some computer assistance as well. Grad school test prep like the GRE and the GMAT. We have online research skills. We kind of teach those in our tech classes. The adult learner resources. Citizenship tests. So English for language learners, there's some stuff here to help prepare for the TOEFL exam. I know it's differently, but, and then Parent Corner. This is kind of to help parents understand what tools are available through here. Okay. I know that was quick. A lot of learning how to use this service is experimenting and kind of playing around and seeing what's available. And a couple other things we have now. So we have Learn Now, which brings you back here, but this is kind of the helpful stuff you need. Flashbulb is mainly for younger learners, but this is where you can create your own flashcards for different topics, and there's videos and games. So we talked about the SATs. So for standardized tests, these are flashcards for, if we clicked SAT, so this would be like flashcards you could print out for the vocabulary list, or I guess mainly vocabulary, but definitely go through. So some of these are created by Brainfuse. Some of these have been vetted, but were created by maybe SAT takers or maybe college students that can recall what it was like. So you could see the date on the side here. This is when they were uploaded. So some of them are really old, and I know that the SAT changes, and so you may want to be cautious about which ones you use, but there's all sorts of flashcards down there, or in here you can look through on all sorts of topics, you know, math, basic algebraic equations, geometry. So Brainwave. So a Brainwave is basically where you're recording a movie or an activity for your whiteboard that you would share with someone. And so what that means is you're able to do meet sessions, which are kind of like Zoom sessions where you meet with friends. You would invite them, and you could create Brainwave videos to share with them beforehand or during, to kind of talk about, you know, if you're doing a study session, it could be what you've learned or what they've learned. And then the Leap Learning platform. So these are lessons and quizzes with live online tutoring for tests. So they do have a full-length practice test for the SATs. So it talks about getting started. You take the test, you submit the test, and then if you have any questions afterwards, you'll be linked up with the tutor. But it goes through the whole thing. You know, this is the reading test, and then from there you go. Okay, and it'll give you your progress. So this is where you would then go back to any of the classes. Message Center is where you would get responses to any questions you've sent to the coaches that you've been working with. Brainwaves would be your, you know, those videos you've created. My Cloud Pack would be the flashcards you've been creating. If you have appointments for, say, those meet groups you've created or any coaching appointments you have, those would be there. And then you can go back to any of the tests you started or in the process of taking. You could go to those as well. All right. So that is it when it comes to JobNow and VetNow. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, and then you guys can go ahead and ask me questions. I'll unmute your microphones. So let me stop this now.